5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sync. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Eljay.
I'm Var.
I'm Meso.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm DT.
Thank you. And we are the masters of spin jitsu. This is, wait, Fudge! Wait, hold on! Don't say anything! I can correct it! Give me a moment. This has been...
Can I start my own campaign to take control of this podcast?
Yeah, that won't get you anywhere. This is Ninjago Cast. We are the masters of Pujitsu.
There we go.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, that campaign would get you nowhere. Hello, everyone.
Just like
Welcome
this
back
podcast.
once again to Ninjago Cast. Obviously enough, let's get the elephant out of the room. So, bye, DTinaglia. No, I'm kidding. We have a special guest, our first guest.
Dude, he just called you an elephant. You gonna take that?
I mean,
It is the well-renowned stop-motion animator, DTinaglia Studios. Hello.
Let's
it
all
going?
give him a round of applause. All right, round of applause. Everyone. Clap.
thank you, Meso.
Why would you even? Why would you even need
How
to
do you
start
even
that?
round applause?
I don't know, dude.
You
You
go
gotta
in a
like,
circle.
clap
you
in
gotta
a
like
circle.
carry.
Can you
You gotta
divide
like
the
move
applause?
the decimal over and carry the fun. That's
I
what it
gotcha.
boils down to.
That makes a lot of sense.
But no, how's it going, man? DTinaglia, you're an awesome person. I'm really glad you were able to join us for today's podcast. Thanks, man.
I've been listening to this podcast since I was looking up some Legends of Chima episodes online, and I came over an episode title on YouTube, and it was like 20 minutes long. So I was like, "Oh, this must be an
Well, that's
episode."
not possible.
Wait, no
because
way.
we only
Chima
started
gets us a lot of viewers. Chima got us a lot of viewers. I don't know
Chima
how
got
much
us
It was
purple.
popular,
It got
man.
me.
It was purple. Yeah.
Hold up a second, DT. So you actually were one of those people who thought it was the actual episode, and you found it, and instead of getting mad and leaving an angry comment, you actually liked it.
I listened to it and I was like,
Hallelujah.
"Wow, an actual intelligent discussion about Lego. This is really cool."
Oh, you
That's-
you
Oh,
must
you were
have
giving
gotten
us
us
way too
confused.
much credit.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of the other Chima coverage.
See, yeah, I was really confused because you said this podcast, and you're talking about TTV. So it's like, oh yeah, no, Ninjago Cast, we've been around that long. I remember
still.
when we were called Chima Cast,
That's
Mount Kabora Cast, or whatever they called it.
That's actually quite cool. I'm glad that story thought that happened.
Yeah, I was looking it up, just found this, and I was actually pleasantly surprised.
Well, thank you very much. That means a lot.
That's awesome
It
to be
Alright.
here.
LJ, what are we talking about today?
Okay, so today we are not going to be going over any particular episode. Instead, we are going to discuss the entirety of season 7, 8.
It's 7.
Depending on who you ask.
It's it.
Yeah, there
should
we go.
Should we mention to the audience just who DTinaglia is?
You did?
so
You mentioned
kind
he's
of-
a-
Yeah,
What's
so
on the channel?
I feel like let's let him actually introduce himself.
Yeah.
DTinaglia Studios, what are you best known for?
I'm best known for my Ninjago stop motions. Basically, I use the Ninjago characters and basic themes to write my own stories, and I upload episodes either weekly or bi-weekly depending on how busy I am.
I know
How long
that
have you been
feel.
doing that for?
I've been doing this since my first Ninjago movie, or my second Ninjago movie, it's a long story, in 2015.
2015. All right, so that's
2015.
pretty.
And
pretty
how many
recent.
subscribers do you have?
Somewhere around 63,000.
Awesome. Time to go quit.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, can we join
So-
your? Can we just jump ship? Let's go.
So do you need
So
any?
I
You need
took-
any voice actors? Can we
I'm
guest star
actually
on your
looking for some
podcast?
voice actors for some Bionicle characters in upcoming possible Bionicle stop motion.
I'm Liwa, hands down.
Yeah, I
Let's
already
do it.
asked you.
Come on,
So.
sweet sauce. I'm down.
Wow,
Down
you
with-
guys
wait,
just
yeah, I remember
spoiled
that.
things.
I
to the
do remember
audience
that.
now.
I'm 100% down to
If
climb.
you ever need anybody like weird or quirky or like monotone, I'm your guy. Like I'll be all
I thought you were gonna recommend someone else. I'm like, hey, if you know anyone weird or quirky, there's Ven. He's kind of weird, so I'm sure he'll be just fine.
I can play like oddball characters or people who have no personality.
You don't have a
I'm
quirk.
totally down for that.
You're like the Midoriya of our group.
yeah, I'm the best
Hey,
of both worlds. I can be like,
I'm the Midoriya. The main character
You are
is
not
me.
the main
No,
character.
You are
I can
not.
be-
You were the one that said it.
You are
I can be
not
the
main
pro or
character.
I can
Nobody
be the
tries
lame-o.
that
One or
much.
the other. Well, that's awesome. You were able
How
to
do you
surpass
know?
us
No.
in like 2 years. So that's awesome. You're the best.
I did gain most of my original subscribers through throwback again, Legends of Chima.
How dare you?
I had a Legends of Chima stop motion series with 66 episodes.
What the?
And
Dude.
I did it from 2013, 2016.
What is it about
Or
Chima?
2015.
Everybody
have
gives it
no
so much
idea.
flack, but it pulls in viewers.
It's weird because it's like
It really
it's like
does.
Chima brought in viewers and subscribers for like all the YouTube channels, but apparently it didn't bring in viewers or subscribers for Lego.
Nope.
No.
That is weird.
Well,
yeah.
no, it might have.
It did what it was supposed to do, I guess. Like, at least it got to see its story to completion.
It's
Yeah, I
sold
was
well.
got 3 years, you know?
Yeah, it was a
Something right.
quote-unquote reasonably successful theme.
6.5 out of 10.
My takeaway from
yeah.
this is
2 waves
Chima
every year.
TLDR coming next summer.
Yeah, do it, man. That'd be
That'd
great.
be weird.
All right, well, in that case, how long have you been in the Ninjago community or been a fan of the theme?
Well, I was a huge theme of Lego Castle in 2007,
You're a huge-
and I liked the skeletons from that. And they reused the same skeleton design in Ninjago, so I picked up my first Ninjago sets just for the skeletons. And I was like, this theme looks pretty lame, but it is skeletons, and I was basically Meso back then. So,
Dude, I was about to say, you and me, kindred spirits.
I'm
then I
sorry
got-
for laughing through that. You started that off with I was a big theme.
He said
That
I was a
was my favorite Lego.
He said
theme.
I was a huge theme. Get it right.
oh
Yeah.
gosh. Well, anyway, good first episode. I was
You did it.
So I just got it for the skeletons, and I thought the theme looked pretty lame overall, until I watched the first episode of the TV show, and I was like, wow, this is actually okay.
That's like exactly what happened with me.
Well, in that case, I do have to ask, seeing as we are primarily Bionicle fans here, what did you think of the Skull Wave, if you paid any attention to those, for Bionicle Generation 2?
They were probably my second favorite wave of Bionicle G2. I own every G2 set. I was a huge
Good,
G2
good, me
fan.
too. You're in good company.
Meso,
Yep.
is that what you thought too?
Wait, what, about the skulls?
With the skulls? Yeah.
Man, as much as I'd love to say yes, probably not.
Oh, okay.
I just love Skull Warrior.
I'm with you.
Skull Warriors.
Yeah.
You and me. It's just like
Good
I
set.
couldn't. The beginning wave of 2016 was kind of but it gave us some greats like Umarak, and like he's better than any single skull
Yeah.
villain. So I'm kind of
My thing about the first wave of 2016 is that it just really, the proportions of the Toa really set me off. For the first wave,
Liwa, Galley.
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
with you.
Yep.
For the first wave of 2015, I had to only modify a few of the Toa just to make them how I like them. But for the first wave of 2016, I modified every single one.
Dude, you and me both. We're like the same person, dude.
He's like you, but successful.
He's like you, but actually did something with his life.
He has
Oh,
like
jeez.
He's like you,
600
but not a disappointment.
But, guys.
he's like
come
you,
on.
except people were actually asking him to
Okay.
get starred.
Meso
We get
won
it,
an
dude.
art book.
yeah, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I got
So did
stuff.
me and Var. Really, Eljay's the only one here that didn't really win an art book, so...
That's fine.
Nice.
I won the love and care of all of our audience members.
You also
And
won
that-
the creation of so many memes with your
Yes.
the ironic mask of victory.
Yes, and my mask removal.
Oh, did they-
that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the,
This is
All right,
the
that was
ultimate
ironic to
show.
sit in
That
for
was
failure
honestly
now?
one of my
That's what
favorite
we're-
TTV moments ever.
Thank
I
you.
do have to point out that the one thing that you mentioned was his like big like crowning achievement was the mask of victory, which was an ultimate failure
Literally.
and loss.
Literally,
The irony
it's a
of it
hallmark
is
of
always
not winning
amazing.
anything.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's why I named it that. Just in case.
a
Fun
fallback.
fact, I actually nearly named mine, like, the cost of victory, my epic, the cost of victory, just so I could have a victory thing that would actually win a contest.
No, what I should have done. I
You
should've
would have
entered-
lost at that point.
I should have entered a loss mock into the contest, dude. Because that way, if I win, it's loss. But if I lose, then it was a loss. So like, it all works out.
So
Anyway, go on.
that's a loss.
Th-
no
th-
matter how you
thanks
cut
for almost ripping me off, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks
No
for
problem.
being successful.
Anytime.
Just like how we ripped off the Ninjagos for the intro.
I still remember I watched a really old podcast, and Meso's sitting there holding a Ninjago skull bike,
Yeah.
And you guys are all talking about
vlog.
like, oh,
yeah,
look at Meso with his Ninjagos.
Yeah, that's what
All
it
those
is.
Ninja
dude.
goes.
I used to have an obsession with prop comedy.
Are you like Carrot Head?
My
basically.
favorite Ninja goes is Cole. He's got
How
the best
dare you.
personality. He's
My favorite
And-
Ninja-
okay, no, actually, that is a pretty prevalent question.
My
we should
favorite
ask.
Ninja Go is Cole because he's a ninja bro. Anyway, go on.
So,
That's what we should call this.
DTinaglia.
Ninja go,
Who
jump
is
off a
Ninja
cliff and
Bro?
die.
Ninja.
That's exactly what we should call ourselves.
Dude,
now.
why didn't we call this podcast Ninja Bros? Can we
I
change
don't
the name?
know.
Because
Let's
we
change it.
had like Purple on the podcast.
Yeah, but she's a bro too.
She's a bro.
Tell her that.
Okay.
D-Team,
All right.
I got it right
Dragon,
that
you're a
time.
bro.
What's your favorite ninja? Who is?
Drum roll, Cole.
Yes? Oh my god.
Unironically.
Really? Like not I? Wow.
All right, so
That is-
I think
Impressive.
I have some extremely unpopular opinions in here.
I know
then
that
I-
for you.
Apparently so. We have to talk about this and make sure you feel terrible and crushed
Yeah.
about your decisions in life.
So my unpopular opinions, my favorite season was Possession.
What?
See, you can't see me, but I had an eye twitch moment. It's like
No. I want to hear you. I want to hear your reasonings behind this because I haven't
I'm
watched
not
it.
my
even mad.
reasoning
I'm
behind
just
it-
amazed.
Is I'm just a sucker for world building, and if that's the one thing we mainly got in Possession, that's what it was. I love the introduction of the realms. I thought that was really cool, even if it's incredibly convoluted with what they've done with it now. Back then, it was the coolest thing, and it's like when the MCU went from just the Avengers on Earth to Guardians of the Galaxy. It just expands the world tenfold, and I thought that was awesome.
it's a good point. There's 16 realms, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
like
15
it
now.
basically multiplied the breadth of the Ninjago universe by 16 times.
I'm almost a little bit irritated that you've come here. You haven't even spent a full 20 minutes with us, and you've already brought a reasonable defense to Possession
You know,
I
to
also
the
think.
table.
All right, I just want to defend one more thing.
Okay,
I
go
think
for it.
one of my favorite things about Possession is that there aren't really any time skips. There's like one or two, but it's mostly just from point A to point B and then all the way until the very end. So it's like a single journey rather than Skybound, which was a great season except for the end. I wasn't a very big fan of that, but
No one
comparing
was.
it to I don't think anyone was. But comparing it to Skybound, which was, there were notable time skips. Like one episode, you just start in a police office, and Jay and Nia are in disguise in a police office. Like, what?
I'm with you. That's a good point. I won't lie. When you said I wanted to defend one more thing, one of my favorite parts, I was hoping you weren't gonna say one of my favorite parts was the love triangle, because I was probably
the
gonna
love
knock
triangle.
my mic over and ruin the recording. And
I really don't
Thank
like the
you.
love triangle. But at the same time, the scene in Possession where Cole and Nia like make up and it resolves the love triangle. I don't know. I just really was a fan of that scene.
Which scene are you talking about?
There's a scene in the Destiny's Bounty when Cole's like super emo depressed about being a ghost, sitting on his bed, and Nia walks in and they basically have a discussion about it, and they basically wrap up the love triangle, which I was a huge fan of. Not the love triangle. I was a huge fan of wrapping it up.
I was gonna say, whoa, that is the most controversial opinion yet.
Yeah, so I was a huge fan of them wrapping it up, and then I don't know. I just feel like Cole. He's my favorite ninja because he has so much potential, but Lego just basically throws him aside in every single season.
See, I'm exactly like you again, except I feel that way about Kai. but I get you. That was a good
Yep.
scene with him and Nia. It was like their only actual scene.
I know.
Chemistry.
Maybe the love triangle would have been better if we got at least one scene of Cole and Nia interacting at all before the love triangle was announced. But you know,
Or even
Yeah,
you
you
just,
think?
I mean,
that
just if it had any ramifications, you know, like imagine if they actually had to break someone up or leave someone together or just have this whole thing happen because of it. It just happens
I know, right?
and then it stops and
It's
yeah.
over. Yeah,
there you
it's all
go.
done.
How do you feel about Cole being a ghost, or at least when he was?
I liked it because it was my first glimmer of hope that Lego was actually going to try something new with Cole, but then they just had a whole arc about him being a human again.
Again, at the very beginning of that sentence, I was really anxious. I liked it. Okay. All right, buddy. But then you followed it up with some reasonable explanation, and I'm
You're dropping
frustrated
bombs,
because you're not
dude.
giving me any openings here, man.
Really
Nope,
frustrated.
you're dropping bombs of truth.
You're rational. How dare you?
I've just listened to too many TTV podcasts, Ninjago Cast, and BrickFeed that I just know exactly what you guys are going to say
Okay,
next.
flattery's gonna get you far, so we better get into this recap before this goes any further.
Are we recapping
So-
anything?
No, we're not. Recap's the wrong word, but the retrospect of the latest season, and that would be Hands of Time. Now,
eager
I
for
would
this.
like to start this off by saying I'd like to rescind a little bit of my negativity from last episode. I've given it some thought. The ending certainly isn't as bad upon reflection as I thought it was, so long that they follow it up. Because right now,
oh yeah.
as it stands, it's kind of a cliffhanger. And if you haven't seen the episodes, there are going to be spoilers during this video, so I recommend catching up. If it's just left on this cliffhanger, kind of like a Halo 2 situation, then yeah, we have a bit of a problem. It's not a good ending. It will probably decrease the season overall. However, if this is followed up, then it was actually pretty decent end.
I mean, what do you
and
mean
I
by
commend
follow
David
up?
Shane.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, like,
they're gonna follow it up.
I think I
unless
know what
the
he
theme
means.
Unless the theme gets canceled.
Like I mean, directly tie all the loose plot holes. We eventually see what becomes of everything. They pursue that plot line of Wu being gone, of Wu being, in time and space, and the ninja having to figure out a way to find him.
I do.
I imagine
Think-
that's where they would go.
I think it's understood that they're doing. I'll take it a step further. I'll say it's very similar to what Eljay said. I do think pretty positively about the ending, but rather than just if they follow it up, I'll take it one step further and say if they use this as an opportunity to do a time skip or a
Oh, yeah,
sub
totally.
redo
that's
of
what
sorts.
I think. I don't think they're gonna follow it up in that sense. I feel like they're just gonna skip ahead in time to where Sensei Wu ends up.
Yeah.
And or skip ahead in time as the ninja have been searching for him.
Yeah, that's what I think they're going to do, and I hope that's what they do.
I would love to
'Cause,
have
like-
something where it just skips to the future and it's another 40 years and they like repeat the same scene with Wu at the beginning of Hands of Time, but with an old Sensei Lloyd, and it's 40 years later and then Sensei arrives. That would be sick.
That would be great.
That would be
Okay,
good.
that would actually be rather symbolic. I like that.
Definitely. Well, alright, where do we want to take this? You want to just like...
Well, how did everyone feel about the progression of the season? Because we had a bit of issues with how it was paced,
I did too.
the comedy, its overall feel.
I feel like a lot of the episodes sort of meandered a little bit, in the sense that I don't know, the plot threads that they kind of brought in didn't really do much in terms of progression at all. IMO, like it kind of just like you started a plot thread, and the plot thread didn't really do anything to
Cole's orange
contribute to the
hands.
actual story. Yeah, and like and they keep sort of like hinting at this plot thread as though it's a thing, and then you get to the end and it's just not a thing. They never actually
Yeah.
address it, so they kind of set up things that don't really have any relevance. Like Nia, like the identity of Pixel, or
Yeah,
Pixel,
or
the
Samurai
identity of
X.
Pixel, the identity of Samurai X, who I'm assuming is Pixel. That was a plot thread that they brought up and wasted time focusing on in her involvement with Nia, and Samurai X really didn't do anything too plot relevant. Like she was there
I've
for the
got a
final
theory.
battle, and then you don't really know anything else about her, about who she is or what she did, and she didn't really do anything for the season as a whole. So it's just kind of one of those things that sounds like they wasted time with.
What's your theory, DT?
All right, so Tommy Anderson, I think. I don't know if it's Anderson.
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 All right, so it's Anderson. All right, so he tweeted out that when someone asked who the identity of the samurai was, I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure he said that two versions of the same person can exist via time travel.
Oh no.
I twitch again.
Mm.
What does that mean?
Oh, could it be Nia from the
From
future?
the future?
I think it's someone else.
No way!
What if Sensei gets taken back to the past?
No.
No, I'm
Oh
just
my
joking.
gosh. Is this like a Samurai Jack thing?
Coming back to the
Yes. That's really weird. I don't know what that actually
I'm gonna
means.
check.
That's actually really interesting. That would be pretty cool if it was Nia from the future. Actually,
What
that
if they're
would be
just making it seem like it's Pixel and we just because of all the decisions they've made in the past, we assume they're making it really obvious.
Yeah, you're right. That would be a really good misdirection if that actually turned out to be the identity.
That would make the conversation he has with Samurai X more valid. It
would make more sense, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's still kind of it doesn't make any sense because that's not what Nia's actual motivations were. But the content, like the conversation they're having about them, like I have the same motivation as you, makes a lot of sense now. If that was true,
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's a really good theory, huh?
That is pretty cool, huh?
I would love if it was someone that went to the future and got the future technology, and that's why they have that voice changer and all the technology, and then
it makes sense.
Yeah,
because it's like the future version of that, like that samurai outfit. That does make sense. And
oh yeah, there could be like a thing where Nia from the future is stranded in the past, and it's like we get to see future Nia, like in the next season, and then at the end of that season she gets sent back in time, and she has to steal the stuff of Samurai X, and then we see Hands of Time, and then.
Yeah. How perplexing.
That's interesting.
I really hope this isn't the whole first Lego Wyvern thing, or Wyvern thing, and I didn't just completely misquote it. So that's why I'm checking.
Well, look, at least they'll just put all the blame on you. So if this turns out to be not true, point the finger at him.
Go on his YouTube channel and blame him and unsubscribe.
Princess in the live studio audience is asking, why would Nia know the Ninjroid code? I feel like that's, she's from the future. So I'm assuming she would.
She might have. Yeah, I mean, like when you add the element,
information.
She's always been a tech genius. So if she could run to a thing where she like has to program an android or have to do something on Zane or something. That could be a possibility in the future.
Have you guys ever seen Futurama?
Every episode.
You know Lars.
I've seen a couple episodes.
I do.
What if it's like Lars?
That would be very interesting.
That would be incredibly confusing. So basically, Lars is a different version of one of the main characters that goes back in time and learns so much different stuff that he basically becomes a different person, even though two versions of himself are alive at the same time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, tying it all back to, like, the initial thing, like, here's my thing with the season. I feel like a lot of the positives about it are things that might happen in the future. This feels like, it feels like a book or, like, a TV show that got released and then was cut off halfway through, is basically what it feels like. I feel like I've watched an incomplete cut of the work.
Yeah.
And because of that, when I'm thinking about the season as a whole, I find myself hard-pressed to come up with many concrete thoughts, positive or negative, simply because it could all be invalidated at the drop of a dime the moment we see the next season.
All right, I found the tweet. I found the official tweet.
Okay.
Oh, thank goodness.
So
Please send that to me.
Someone asked him and said, based on what we have seen in Hands of Time, can we definitely figure out who Samurai X is? And he responds, kind of, ... it's complicated. Remember that time travel plots can allow two versions of the same character to exist simultaneously.
Okay,
that
so
sounds like a strong hint towards Nia.
Yeah,
they might be
Send it
like,
over to me so I can put that in the video.
And maybe Nia just doesn't want to interact with herself, and that's why she has to keep her identity
secret. Right.
Especially if they're going with the whole, like, if you interact with yourself, it screws up time or something.
Go ahead and post a link to that.
Well, I don't.
Cool.
Is that true in the Ninjago thing? Because doesn't
I don't know. I don't know.
His past self.
I don't. Well, see, the thing is, I don't know what the rules of time are in Ninjago.
It's true.
But that'd be the reason why they're wearing a disguise.
They're weird because
it could be like
don't
it
make
could
sense at all.
not be a thing, but then be a thing now because the show is like it needs to be a thing. You know, like the show kind of brings in new rules and laws whenever.
I mean, they're probably like, it's probably why Samurai X was wearing a disguise and why they didn't want to tell the person their identity. If it is Nia, then it's probably just what I was saying in the prior episode. That she was just spinning nonsense to get Nia off her trail because she can't reveal to her that she's actually Nia because that would cause a time paradox.
Oh man,
plot hole. It's just like in the flashback where Kai and Nia had to like pretend they were their
you're
parents.
blowing my mind, man.
Like,
this is
it was just
This
a
is a
bunch of
very
garbage.
good theory.
And because of the
I
same
like this a
person,
lot.
maybe through time it like retroactively like alters her memory or like triggers something, and she's like, oh yeah. Like you're interacting with yourself, but you don't know it's yourself, and like because of time travel and all that, it messes with your brain chemistry. Interesting.
That would be so
yeah.
cool. I also
Dude, yeah.
I love the idea of future Nia being the Nia that we're gonna see next season if they do the
Right, that's what I'm thinking. Is like Samurai XL is like the future samurai in the future that we're going to be going to now.
Right, exactly.
Oh, that'd be sick.
They send her back in order to solve something that didn't work out the last time.
That is perfect.
Right, and we see that happen with Hands of Time, but like, there could be an alternate timeline where the ninja don't do something, so they decide that they need to send Nia back, and that they send her back at the beginning of this.
Man.
Man, that's
Also,
really cool.
in the same Twitter thread, he confirmed that we will definitely know who the samurai is in season 8.
Season 9.
It's season 8, he said, so I'm going to trust him.
All right. That's confirmed.
I mean,
Confirmation.
The pilots aren't a
sure that
season, and
Tommy
neither is Daily
Anderson-
Departed, so it's season 8.
I'm sure he's been wrong before.
Yeah, because,
Okay.
I mean, he's the creator of Ninjago, so they've done some very wrong things before with their
That's
storylines.
No offense, Tommy Anderson.
And no offense if you're listening.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Sometimes he does.
Well,
and we
That
don't know
is
about it.
that's really
Don't-
interesting.
Don't forsake us.
Wow.
I love in
right.
that screenshot the replying comment.
Tommy, please, my heart.
It's great.
Wow,
That's an excellent theory. That would that totally makes that whole plot thread better. But once again, to bring it back to our discussion, though, it still feels like a lot of the good aspects of this season are things that could potentially happen in retrospect because of them.
Yeah.
Right.
So at the same time, the season itself is just a little, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of Batman v Superman for me personally, where it's like this really
Scary.
meh movie, and I didn't like it, but it did set up Wonder Woman, and I went to go see Wonder Woman, and I really liked Wonder Woman. So looking back on Batman v Superman, I can be like, yeah, Wonder Woman was pretty sweet in that movie. And I can like that movie a little bit more. That's kind of how I feel about this season of Ninjago. It's like,
All right, you can finish.
I was just gonna say, it's like if the next season actually does fulfill some of these things, and I like that season, I can kind of look back on this one fondly, but it doesn't make the season itself good. I still think Batman v Superman's a bad movie. So
Yeah, what I feel is that...
I feel like... Oh, please go ahead.
All right, thank you. I feel like this season is like watching... Have you guys all seen season 2 of Ninjago?
Yes.
Yeah, we've seen all the
All right,
seasons.
so
All the seasons up until
hated season.
it feels like you just saw the beginning part, and right as the Stone Warriors were revealed, it ended.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
That's-
it's all just
Because
filler.
you're building up, and then you get to the big part, and it's just revealed, and the bad guys just escape, and it's kind of left open. So I do agree with what you said, Var, which is what, like, if there's a second season that's really good, that is like the second of a two-parter, which we haven't gotten in a long time. If it's the second part and it's good, that'll make me feel better about this one. I can probably agree on that. But all I know is that if it's going to be a continuation of this story, I'm definitely going to watch Hands of Time right before the new one comes out, so I can, like, reform my opinion on it.
That's a good idea. I think that the ending... There's a phrase I've commonly heard, and that being the ending is paramount. And as Hands of Time stands right now, it's unfinished.
Yeah.
However, I can definitely see this being a case where you need... If this next season completes it, then you just need to binge watch it. And you have 20 episodes in Ninjago that is this long, overarching story.
which is alright, but
That
like,
would make it really good to me.
for a season though, I can't get behind that. I watch a season for a show in order to get a arc, a complete story within that season. If it's going to be split in half, give me a larger season, or do something to make this feel a bit more, meaningful. I feel
Yeah,
like
at the very
yeah.
least, they could
Too
have
much-
wrapped up
too
some
much
kind
stuff.
of story.
Right. Wrapped up Samurai X's identity. Wrap up, there's a lot of plot threads that are still kind of left open. There's too many of them, I feel, personally. This really
I
does
wanna
feel
think-
like it's
I
taking
wanna-
like a break. Like for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I want to try to figure out. Let's see if we can find a single plot thread that was wrapped up, that was started in Hands of Time.
Oh,
Ooh.
dude. No,
Scavenger
the mystery
hunt.
of the parents. The mystery of Nia and Kai's parents.
That's true.
That is the
Yeah.
one.
Yep,
Why did
but
they
that
go?
wasn't established in Hands of Time.
True.
Also true.
Well, That's a little bit of a tricky debate on this podcast specifically because Kahi and I have bantered as to whether or not this is technically a retcon or not.
Right.
Yeah.
I am of the opinion that it is.
It is,
of the
but
opinion it isn't.
the mystery of Nia and Kai's parents was still established previously. Like, this is... You're right that this is sort of like this sort of retcon where they're changing what they initially had in mind for them, I think. But with that said, they never explicitly stated what happened to them, and I think they intentionally set up that to be ambiguous.
They've been teasing secrets about their parentage all the way back from Tournament of Elements.
I understand why they do it, too.
I feel like that's like saying,
I
most of like Order of the Phoenix and what's the other one, Half-Blood Prince. That's a retcon to James Potter because his character is so different. And no, I don't think it's a retcon. I think they're explaining what happened to James Potter. So I don't know if J.K. had everything written out way back when she wrote Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone, whatever. I don't think she had that everything with the parents and everything and how it's related to Snape and all that. I don't think she had that figured out completely. But she left it open, the same way Ninjago left it open, and then when it came time to put it in, they did write that into the story. Now, the one retcon thing is the symbol. I feel the symbol is retconned very easy because I was not there in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And now that's here now. But I don't think what happened to
the actual whether or not the parents are a retcon thing isn't really the point. It's I don't think whether it is a retcon or it isn't a retcon, I don't think it really matters. I do feel like the actual statement of that this was set up previously before the season and was concluded in this season is valid, regardless of whether it's a retcon or not. Because this is something that they've been this is something that they've been teasing for me ever since season 1. Like the fate of them has always been ambiguous.
I agree.
So this is finally the resolution.
Even heard about their parents. I've always wanted to know about them, and even I used to be really active on the message boards and just in the community.
Used to be, huh?
I'm talking about the Lego message boards.
Yeah, he's
gotcha.
talking about the Lego message boards.
I still use the TTV message boards a lot, but on the Lego message boards, and I remember talking about how there were no images at all of Kai and Nia's parents. That we had like one pixelated cell phone camera picture, and this was 2011, so that's pretty bad. From like a German Ninjago magazine of Kai and Nia's parents in like 2013, and that was all we had forever up until season 4.
Were they different designs than what they have now?
Well, it was like in 2013, 2014, so... And
Maya
was wearing...
it was the same...
Maya was wearing blue, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
It was around when Tournament came out.
I remember seeing what they looked like old screenshots of what they looked like, and I believe they had the same designs.
I just remember, I think Ray had like some sort of headband on for like, being a blacksmith.
I feel like I vaguely recall what you're talking about, but I don't recall it personally enough.
Yeah.
My thing with this season is like, yes... Well, go on, Bar, if you want to finish.
I was just going to say, I feel like the parents one isn't really, I can't really contribute that one to the season. Like, we finally got answers to something, but I don't think that's something that the season started and then wrapped up.
It was set up in season 1 and season 4.
Yeah.
You called season 1. Ha.
I feel like...
Oh, man, I did. Crap, season 0, I mean. You got me, Eljay.
0. Well, my biggest thing with this season, I find it difficult to actually quantify my feelings into, like, an objective statement. It felt weird. That's basically all I can really say. It just felt profoundly odd. The usual stuff where it's like, oh, Ninjago adds in another past event, another past villain, another past conflict that was kept secret from everybody. They've done this like 3 times.
Yeah.
It used to be Garmadon with like Master Chin, and then it was with Moro, and now it's with this guy, the Hands of Time, Crux Necronics. It's those usual Ninjago oddities, but compounded with a bunch of stuff. A lot of jokes didn't land. A lot of them felt strange. The writing chock full of time nonsense that is difficult to properly get a handle on how it works. Characters would appear to be the butt of a joke, like Skylar, and then disappear, having no plot relevance. Stuff was mentioned without giving, and no proper explanation was given, like Cole's glowing orange hands.
Oh my gosh. That just
kills
me every
follow
time.
Up on that. So from beginning to end, it had all the usual trademarks of good Ninjago quality. High production value, higher than ever. It looked awesome.
I can agree on that.
a plot that was based in lore, even if some of it was coming out of nowhere. Like, Ninjago makes good use of history. Can't fault him for that. Comedy, action, and character, a lot of heart at times. Those are Ninjago's staples. But it was compounded with this always present feeling of like, what am I watching exactly?
Yeah.
I never felt once like I was at ease watching it. It was always strange. And it's difficult to put my finger on why exactly.
I've got it. I know a plot point that was started in Hand of Time and that was resolved.
Come at me.
Go on.
The plot point start was, will the Destiny's bounty be destroyed? And the conclusion was yes.
Nice.
Otherwise,
Sure.
I've been struggling
Classic.
to think, because, yeah, Meso, you're completely right. I've been struggling to think if there's anything that it started that it's been concluded,
Yeah.
and I cannot think of it.
Some people were pointing out Wu's aging as a thing, but I don't think that was concluded.
No.
They started Wu aging. They concluded it in the
They
sense
kinda
that they
conclu- yes,
stopped
off-
him
They
aging.
concluded it off screen.
Yeah, they concluded it in the sense that he
confusing what
stopped
happened.
aging, but then his ultimate fate is once again left up to, it's a
Ambiguous.
cliffhanger. It's ambiguous, yeah. So the whole point was to save Wu, and we technically saved Wu, but we didn't. He's now lost in time. So we've only progressed him into an even worse situation than he was before, and we still don't know what he's going to go through or what his fate's going to be. So that's a plot thread that they advanced, but they didn't complete it. It wasn't wrapped up. We still don't know where Wu is. He's not with the crew. He's not back to normal or healthy. Yeah. So if anything, they
Profoundly odd.
made it
Yeah.
worse.
Every aspect of the show, like Lloyd and his whole struggle to become a master, Kai's ever-present stupidity, Nia's contradictory backstory, retcons, all of it just felt off-putting. Like, it was either coming too late or the way they were delivering the character problems were just not executed well. Oh yeah, Pixel's random disappearance, which again, if she does turn out to be Samurai X, then great, that's foreshadowing. If she doesn't, then that's either an unfired Chekhov's gun or purposeful audience misdirection.
I really
Which
hope
is
it's
fine.
I really hope it's purposeful audience misdirection.
I do
'cause
too. The
I don't
pixel. I mean, the
have they
pixel
really
thing
ever
is
done that
fine
before?
if it was just the pixel thing. But since they've got literally every other plot line that has yet to be resolved, it's like, okay, come on, pick one narrative that we can stick with and give us an ending to it, beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, you think about where these characters are going through in the arc of a season, right? If you're planning out a season, you want your characters to progress throughout the season from point A to point B. And you want to have, their story doesn't need to end. You don't need to wrap up every single plot point, but you do need to have a storyline that has a beginning, a middle, and end. And then stuff happens around that you branch off of, right? So, like,
You need a conflict.
right, exactly. You need that conflict, and you need that bit of resolution at the end. And to be fair, we did get a bit of conflict with, like, them launching everything and the Hands of Time getting the giant snake. What's it called?
Iron Doom.
Iron Doom, right? Together and
Yeah.
everything. And that was their main deal. Except at the end of the episode, the penultimate finale, they don't stop it. It does go back in time. And so then when the ninja come back, the ninjas still don't stop it. It just goes somewhere else farther in time. So it's been resolved in a sense, but very, like, they're postponing the resolution essentially. This is like just a reprieve in the middle.
Yeah.
The problem is that the conflict that we set up, the danger that we set up, is still out there and is still a threat and is still actively being a threat. It's just not actively participating for our current characters that we're following. It's just a threat for someone else, which is Wu, who knows where he's going.
And
What about this? Like, I'll offer this. Shoot it down, please.
I will.
The mystery of the symbol. Like, the forged symbol, no matter how ridiculous of a retcon it was still there.
The thing
It
with
was a
symbol-
mystery that
That
was
is true.
started.
I see the thing with the symbol is that it's just a continuation of the Nia Kai parent arc. It's just another plot point that they added to help carry that main conflict. The conflict wasn't what the symbol means. The conflict was, where are our parents, and what does this symbol mean for that.
The symbol
Because
ties
it's setting
into
up.
that
It's setting
plot
up
line,
it's tying into it. It's setting up the idea that the parents could have betrayed everybody. That's
So
all that was.
That case,
Can we
I got
just
nothing.
like map out what are the main plot lines going on this season? Both main plots and maybe
The
like
Hands
the
of
subplots.
Time are trying to collect the Time Blades, and we have to stop them.
Right,
That is what I
main
would
one.
say is the main plot.
Okay.
Secondary plot is Kai stupidly and slowly piecing together, I think my parents might be alive.
The A plot is the Hands of Time. The B plot is the parents.
And
And
in
then
true Ninjago fashion, somehow, in this huge world, the A plot and B plot are turn out to be related to the exact same two people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Small world.
the B plot was resolved. However, it's not really a plot that this season set up, which is what we established. And then the A plot has been put on hold until further notice.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
in a
Quite
sense,
right.
I mean, okay, in a sense, it is resolved if you're thinking of like, they in the current time, the ninja no longer have to deal with that. But because it ends on such a cliffhanger and because it's built that way in order to give you that cliffhanger feeling, I don't think it really counts as a full resolution.
And it's also because we don't know what's going to happen in the next season. Because it was a cliffhanger, it could have been resolved in the sense that we might never see the Hands of Time again, and we're going to continue following our ninja characters, and they're just going to continue living life as though status quo has been fulfilled, and the Hands of Time will never show up, and we will never show up again. If that's the case, then it was resolved. However,
I've got an
that's
interesting
clearly not
idea.
what's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
The Hands of Time are going to show up again at some point. Wu is going to show up again at some point. We're ending this season with the knowledge that the Hands of Time could pop up in the future at some random moment and cause havoc again. And because of that, the plot was not resolved. The danger is still there.
Alright, I've got a theory about this season. It's not a
You're gonna
storyline
ruin
theory,
us
it's
again,
a
aren't you?
behind-the-scenes theory.
okay.
What if the Ninjago writers were just like, alright, new writer that wrote Day of the Departed and nothing else, we need a season that sets up 4 more seasons because this theme makes a lot of money.
Yeah, you
No,
and
I guarantee you
we're
that.
completely on the same page.
Yeah, actually,
I mentioned something along those lines on the last episode. Like, David Shane had to... I feel he was given the direction. We need to do this with this theme because the movie's coming out. Get us into a position where we can do this. And you have 10 episodes to do that.
Yeah, they're just like, the movie's gonna make it big, so we have to ramp up production on Ninjago. Let's create a bunch of plots that we have to solve.
To be fair, too, the Hagman brothers also were busy working at this time with
Troll Hunters.
Del Toro on Troll Hunters. Now, I don't know
That
if
show
that
is
like
fantastic,
directly
by the way.
conflicted with the schedules or whatnot. We should watch that at some point.
I
I don't know if
love
that
I've
like
wanted to.
actually conflicted, but there definitely was a thing where the Hagman brothers were otherwise, doing something else, and they had a new writer come on, and it really does feel like this is a very much a filler season. Where it's like,
Yeah.
this is in the middle, we're going to get you to this point, and then the Hagman brothers are going to come back on, and they're going to have this storyline for you guys to go on.
I think, regardless of who wrote it, there is a very clear direction for this season that Lego intended for it to go, so that it would set up an open-ended season where they could literally do whatever they wanted to. It was a soft reboot. They wanted this season to sort of conclude or leave at a point where we can then do whatever we want with the next season. We can
I
continue
want
this
a soft
plotline if we
reboot at
want
this
to.
point.
We can do a soft reboot. We can even do like a hard, crazy, like alternate universe reboot now because of the way the time travel's set up.
They already
So
did that in the movie.
Exactly. That's
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
it depends. I think they've intentionally set it up to where, depending on the reception of the movie and depending on where sales are at, they can alter the course of the show
Yeah.
to different factors. And that was the goal of this season. They've managed to achieve that, I think. And I think
I
regardless
agree.
of which writer was going to do it, we would have gotten a season equally as meh, I think.
Yeah.
Because of the purpose of this season. And I think that the season does what it was intended to do really well. With that said, though, it doesn't make the season enjoyable to watch, per se.
Right. Well, it does what it's meant to do. That doesn't mean that what it meant to do was good.
Quite right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why we're having this conversation about how, retrospectively, this season could be considered a good one. However, as in the now, with what we have and what we've been given, it's not fantastic. It's sort of...
Yeah.
It's really just
I
filler.
would rank it quite low, and I feel we need to address a couple of comments. because there was a bit of an episode, a scheduling delay with the prior 2 episodes in the Ninjago cast, and we did say we were going to get to some of the comments.
Do we have
And so
some
I still want
insightful
to do that.
remarks?
Yeah,
Sure.
we still want to do that. So let's go ahead and start wrapping up this part of the discussion. Overall thoughts and where we place this season compared to the others.
Who's up first?
I can say it real quick.
Go for
Go
it, Var.
I think it's the second worst one. I would put season 2, or well, I guess technically season 1 if you're saying that the the pilots are in a season. That filler arc was really bad. I hated watching it. It almost made me stop watching Ninjago entirely. And this one is better. I feel like the comedy hit pretty good for most of the parts, and I think it looked visually very nice. So I can't rank it under that. However, I do feel it's pretty comparable in the sense that I don't think it really does too much as an actual show, and it's not really that enjoyable to watch. So, second worst.
Yeah.
I'll go next. I think I would say it's definitely down there. I know, like, I liked Possession. Well, I don't know. Like, people say Possession's, like, really bad because it's fundamentally broken on, like, a fundamental level because ghosts make no sense. Time travel and this selective time manipulation also doesn't really make any sense. I don't really know which is worse. I may need to rewatch later on, but it's definitely on the lower echelon. There were good things I did enjoy about it. The visuals, number 1, stellar stuff. The comedy. So I mentioned earlier some of it didn't land, but the jokes that did land were really, really funny. And there were also a lot of really good character moments with the ninja interacting with each other. Just kind of hanging around, chilling out.
Yeah.
Kai and Nia had a really good scene where they met their parents. That was good. They were good. Whether it was contradictory or kind of like out of nowhere or whatever, they used history in a way that worked well. So I got to give them credit for that. And Crooks and Acronics as villains, were they the best Ninjago had to offer? Not by a long
Not
shot.
at all.
But they did have some cool moments, and they had good interactions with each other. So it's not like it was devoid of positives, but the questionable plot elements, this all-encompassing, off-putting vibe I got from the whole thing, the villains, the Vermilion, were eh. The cameos that they did were half and half. Some were good, some were bad. Like, Cyrus Borg played a really big role.
I like that
his
a lot.
appearance was contrived because all he did was deliver fluff about temporal energy. And I put a temporal scanner in my Borg watch. And it's like, I just can't, like...
Suspension of disbelief, kind of.
Suspension of disbelief, went right down off the cliff into the ocean, never to be seen again.
Oh my! With the
So-
Nindroid thing, that just like he's like, oh, it's the first 1,000 digits in the code for a Nindroid. That literally made
was
that made
just so
so little sense to me. I was like, what doesn't mean anything? How does
So
how
much
would that
like
even
any
work?
season, it has good and bad elements. I'll say the negatives did outweigh the positives, but depending on where they go, again, it might shoot back up retrospectively. I'm sure we'll talk about this season for a long time to come.
Yep.
You know, one thing that I did think about once you were talking about the history of or how the season kind of pulls from history and uses that for those character moments where they're, it's kind of contrived, it's kind of doesn't fit. They're all plot points that have been resolved before, or it's like really delayed in the sense that we're coming back to this now, even though it's been a dropped thing for a while. It's actually interesting. I wonder if they did that on purpose. I think because it's occurred to me now that this is the season that people are going to be watching right now in preparation for the movie. If people have never heard of Ninjago,
Oh, I was just about to say that.
or they just want to see what the show is about before setting up for the movie. This season does a good job of bringing in everybody's arcs and what they're all about and what their characters are, and the things that are part of their history back into relevancy. Nia being the samurai and everything.
Lloyd being the master.
The
Someone
parents going
seeing
missing.
Karloff and being like, "Who the heck is that?" Look him up. And then they watch season 4.
It even brings in a lot of the side characters and sort of reintroduces them in their kind of silly roles, like Dareth and
Skylar.
Ronan
and Skylar. Yeah, so it's bringing in all these side characters, the side cast, all the main characters and their previous plot points and their previous histories together, and what kind of set them up as characters and kind of making them relevant again. I'm thinking that's intentional.
Neo was the samurai, Zane's a robot, his whole shtick with Pixel, Lloyd's trying to be the master, Cole's coming to terms with being a human again, Neo, and like, Kai, once an idiot, always an idiot. That's his character.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
John,
And
what'd you
they,
think?
They even brought in Jay's parents again, and like how they're inventors and they're in the junkyard and everything, and that's all relevant. And Jay has
Cole's
to-
dad
That's relevant to
showed
the movie
up.
too. We know that his parents are going to be in the movie. So.
and
We
they-
assume they'll be in the
and
movie.
they-
They're at least in
you're
the
right.
set.
You're right. Yeah.
And they
that's
also
true.
did all that while setting up the Elemental Masters, the history there, and how it all comes together with Ninjago. So yeah, I think that's pretty sound
It's actually-
reasoning.
Kind of impressive.
Okay. I mean, that is a newer light that I haven't had time to think the season, the context with. I actually am with Var, in which like I consider this to be one of the worser seasons for me, and it's because I have
Worser?
I really like. Yeah, I know. I like endings a lot. I like when things are, necessarily complete, and when, you still have an ongoing arc, but have an actual story that's being told within a season. I can actually forgive that for like a one episode thing, like Day of the Departed, for example. It's one episode, you can't get everything in that episode that you want to. But for a season, I feel it's like, it's unsatisfying. And from what I've heard about Skybound, I feel like I'll dislike that too. I haven't watched it all the way, but I know about the ending, and that would infuriate me to no end. My favorite season so far has been the Tournament of the Elements, and I feel like right now the show it's getting somewhere. The characters are way more the show's self-aware in this season, more than it's ever been before, and I really like that. It's aware of the cliches and tropes that the ninjas and their enemies use, and it makes fun of that. And I feel like that is a great step forward in the humor that Ninjago should have.
There was a lot of
self-aware comedy, and I really love
that
it.
was funny. I like the comedy a lot.
It was legitimately funny. Like, that's the thing that really got me. There were so many legitimately funny moments because the show had become self-aware. I hope they keep that. That's the best part of the season for me. And also bringing back some characters from lore too, like you guys were saying, that's great. But it's just time travel is one of the things I hate most about fiction.
Time travel sucks.
I hate it. I just hate it so much because it's so hard to have the rigid rules that apply to make time travel interesting. If you are going to do time travel, you do need to have a rigid system, and then you play the characters off that system, and they have to outsmart each other by the system. That's the way to make time travel work. It's a kid's show. They're not able to do that fully. I get that. But even still, it's something that I didn't like for the couple episodes it was beforehand. I definitely did not like the entire season it was in, where they didn't nail down rules. And this was a perfect time for him to do rules, because they could say, hey, even though whatever, the other time travel in the past, the actual hands of time, all these, they have rules to them. So these are the rules that they have, and we need to make sure that we play by them. They didn't, though. So as of right now, with everything unwrapped, with everything in a cliffhanger, with the kind of unsatisfactory things that happened, I didn't feel the characters really went anywhere in the season. I think you could cut the season out and just establish, do a time skip, and essentially you would kind of get where the characters all are. Nothing really happened to them that changed them this season. So,
right at the end, Kai's character's traits are still really cocky and really dumb, and that was how he started. No growth.
he's still mad at his parents. He was like super mad at his dad too.
Yeah.
Eljay?
Actually, I'm gonna let DTinaglia go first.
DT?
I agree with Var and John, putting it at the second worst, or in the far back of my list, mostly because while a lot of things did improve, like Meso said, the negatives definitely outweigh the positives. I really like what it's trying to set up, but I feel there's just so much more they could have done. Even not with just the ending, but with even all the elements. Like, we could have had such cooler battles than a roller coaster fight in the middle of a desert. We could have had much cooler battles than climbing up the side of a building. I mean, that was okay, but there were so many more cool things they could have done with, like, the Vermilion possessing other forms of technology, not just office equipment, like cars or cranes, even though they've kind of done that thing before. But I just think the amount of missed opportunities really puts it down for me. The ending didn't bother me as much as it seemed to bother you guys, because of the things that it could do for the future of the show. But I think the missed opportunities in the middle of the season were the biggest things crying out to me that this wasn't a good season.
Fair enough.
I feel like my opinion might have been changed had at the very, very end, either at the very end of the episode or even like a stinger after the credits, they showed a snippet of Sensei Wu going into the future, and he sees like like 1 or 2 seconds of like we see like a clip of like older Lloyd or something. That would have immediately been like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Perfect.
That would have made it way better for me. I just feel like that wasn't wrapped up, so I don't know where the season's going, and I don't know, and the uncertainty is what makes me not like it as much.
Yeah, my dream ending for the season. I think we should talk about that. How would you have you have preferred the season to end? My dream ending would be Sensei showing up in the like a village similar to Kai's village in episode 1, and Sensei gets up. He like has his staff with him. He's stranded somewhere in the future or somewhere in time, and walks up to like a building, and some random cocky kid in there says, "Go peddle your insults somewhere else," or something like that. I would have loved, because that would have meant it would be a soft reboot, which is exactly what the show needs at this point.
I think they really do need a soft reboot with the movie. So yeah.
Listen, I am 100%. I've said it before. If you put parallelism in your story, no matter how mediocre it was, it will instantly like.
I'm a huge fan
give
of
it
that
some
as well.
redemption points. I will take that like drop of a dime. So I'm in complete agreement.
Yep.
Yeah.
How would you guys have preferred the season to end?
Well,
Basically, what John said. Give me something to look forward
Yeah.
to.
Really,
I guess Kahi.
I think it's simple. It's just just give me some kind of conclusion, something, anything, and then it
If
would be
he's still
fine.
going to be in the past, then tell us that so we know what to expect, so we won't get our hopes up for a future story that isn't going to happen.
Oh, what if he
he's
ends
gonna
up
be
being
in the
in the
future.
past still?
I'm gonna be annoyed,
very
dude.
irate.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Or like what? Or
That would be
what
the
if
worst.
he's just stuck in like a time vortex, and the present day ninja have to like figure out a way to like use time to like free him from like this stasis that he's in, and nothing interesting's done, whatever, and he comes back and it's status quo remains.
I
What
don't
if-
think they're gonna do it because they wouldn't replace Lloyd's voice actor if that was the case.
What if the reason that Wu ages so weirdly is because he gets dropped off in the midpoint between young Wu and old Wu, and he got reversed by the reverse blade, so he's just a few years younger, or like
Now you're
10,
just making
20
my
years
head
younger.
hurt.
He's stuck in like a loop, constantly getting
What
like
if
really
Wu
de-aged.
is a loop leading up to, and that's like,
Sensei whoop.
oh my gosh.
Good.
What if, and like what I was saying at the end of the season,
Whoop.
how I would have liked him to wake up next to the blacksmith shop, or something like that. What if Sensei's entire storyline was a loop leading up to Hands of Time, and he gets transferred back to the past to find the ninja because he knows who the ninja are?
You're right. He goes to the future and he sees what they are in the future, and then he goes back to the past and meets them for the first time and recruits them.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay.
That actually
Man,
makes
I
more
really hope
sense.
they don't do that.
Have you heard my theory as to why he ages weirdly?
What is it?
Pretty sure I have, but you can tell it again.
Yeah, I think I said it in a previous episode. But my theory is that for the gods, love makes you mortal.
Oh yeah.
I think I said it before, right?
I like
Okay,
like-
so that ties into some of the comments I wanted to address.
Okay, go for
after
it.
we were done discussing this. We actually did get a clarification on that, or rather, a partial clarification, because you think that they age due to love.
Mm-hmm.
Would you still say they have their powers, or would they lose those?
No, I mean they still have their power. They just start aging. That's why they.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's why they.
Never mind. That's a little bit different than the comments.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Clarified.
I had a theory about. I'm pretty sure you guys have talked to this before. I have a lot of theories.
You're just dropping bombs, dude. Say them all.
Evidently.
Some of these
But
theories are really
that-
good. Yeah. Keep
that
going.
the age that the sons of the first Ninjutsu Master, or first Ninjutsu Master, ages incredibly slowly. He's basically immortal. His sons have half of that, and then their sons have half of that. So the age of the first generation, which is first Master Ninjutsu, is like 1,000 years. Then Wu and Garmadon would be 500 years, and Lloyd would be like 250 years. So Lloyd would be closer to normal. But then they just had to go and clarify that it was 40 years and ruin my entire theory.
What? The issue is too. Okay, the thing of the reason why I hold to this love makes you mortal theory is because we know there's thousands of, or not thousands, there's like several hundred years in between this first Ninjutsu Master dying and then and Lloyd, not Lloyd, I'm sorry, Wu and Garmadon, and they're like on the flashbacks we see they look young. they only begin to age with Misako. Misako is a normal person. She's an average human. She has an average human lifespan.
I really
She
like
is
that
young.
theory.
She's young when they're young, and then when she begins to age, they age with her. Only then, only when both of them fall in love with Misako, do they begin to show signs of aging past that point. Sensei Wu
I like
is
that
young for hundreds of years until he falls in love with Misako, and then he grows old the same rate Misako does.
Interesting.
That's
What if
my
that's
and
why
also,
the first Genjutsu master died?
That's what I think too. First Genjutsu master dies early on into Wu and Garmadon's childhood is because he fell in love with their mother. He had them, and then he died. As a
What
normal,
if it's
a
not
normal.
always a romantic love, but just a connection to someone?
It could be
And
too.
once he created his son, once he created his two sons, he like paternal love to his sons. That's what caused him to start aging.
That could also be true. I mean, but the thing is that it doesn't. Sensei Wu did not create anyone, and Sensei Wu
Yeah.
is aged alongside Misako the same way Garmadon has
Yeah.
aged. And that's the issue. But that's also a good theory. I just think
Alright.
it would be kind of cool to see. Kind of like Lloyd in the future too. If he's like, he's like, oh, I want to chase after this girl, and Wu's like, yeah, just so you know, you're gonna die. So maybe just think about it. It has to be someone real special.
Nice.
Yeah.
R.I.P. those comments.
We can get into theory. Yeah, we can get to theorize until we're blue in the face. But a couple of clarifications. So last week, or the week prior rather, we had theorized as to why Maya and Ray had lost their elemental powers and why they were so surprised when Kai and Nia had theirs. According to Tom Anderson on Twitter, elemental masters lose their powers when their children are born.
Oh my gosh.
Silly.
And that's why they couldn't fight
Highly
back,
suspect.
allegedly.
And that's why
against
Garmadon
him.
can't summon a dragon because Lloyd can, but Wu still can because he never had kids.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So Garmadon's is he no longer an elemental master, right?
Well,
We don't
There's
really know
the-
if he
there's
ever
the entire
was.
debate that if Wu and Garmadon ever even have elements, because in the old card game, apparently they know all of them, which makes them the Green Ninja, which doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
Garmadon's element is lightning for some reason on several different sites from like 2011, which is not good.
Lightning.
Yeah,
Purple
because
lightning
he has the
used to be his
lightning, like the little lightning
Staff.
blade from 2011.
Gotcha.
Dum 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 dum.
It's dum 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 dum. Come on, Meso.
Thank you for bringing this.
Yeah, so
But yeah,
they don't. I don't even know if they have elements, but yeah, they can still
But, I
summon
mean, like,
dragons.
So I guess that is. Well, I mean,
like,
Wu's aging though. Wu's aging. That's the big deal.
That's fine about Kai and Nia's parents being surprised. That doesn't explain to me why they weren't able to fight back against what's his face, Crux or Chronix, because he also does not have elemental powers. So it's like a 2v1 fight, and all the dude has is a sword.
Yeah.
You're blacksmiths. I bet you have like
His
a whole
powers are
cache of
taking.
weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you have a whole cache of armor and weapons just like around the corner, like in your house. And then you also have your posse of other elemental masters who do have powers. I don't know if they have like telephones, but you could find
They
some
do
way
in
to
the
like leave a
pilots.
message. Yeah, they're doing the pilots. So you might just give them a ring and say like, hey, there's a dude here. Could you just come like take care of him? And they'll pop on over in their dragons and just like get him.
Hi, what up?
I don't know.
Unstoppable fighting force of elemental masters that are our best friends. We're getting kidnapped by someone without elemental powers who happens to be an old man with the sword. Can you come help us?
Again, I would totally buy it if he had like a couple lackeys who had taken Kai and Nia, and in order to protect them, they went along with his demands. And like all these years, like they've just been like waiting to like strike at Kai and Nia until Kai and Nia became like ninja. Then they were like, oh no, well, then that kind of ruins that theory, doesn't it?
What if this becomes like Star
Oh,
Wars,
you know,
and they
it was
go
gonna
back and remaster the episodes to
Here's
make
the
the
issue, though.
flashbacks make sense?
Here's the issue. I was gonna say, that actually could make like that would make a lot of sense too, because then they would have hidden Kai and Nia, and that's why Sensei Wu didn't find her for so long. And I remember they're just sitting in their dad's shop, so Sensei Wu could have come
Yeah.
by at any point in time. He was just kind of a jerk about it. Could have
Yeah,
been like,
it's pretty
oh wow,
strange.
your parents are gone. They used to be my friends. Here, I'll come raise you as kids because you have no one looking out for you right now. Nah, he waits for like years or whatever.
Pretty much. What are the other comments?
Oh, let me see. Another clarification: there's no reason for Maya to look younger
That was an
in
animation
the present.
error. Or a
Yeah,
bad design
it was
choice,
just
he
a
says.
problem. So
Alright.
that's fine. Let me see. There's anything else? I'm fairly certain those are the only two things. Very small, minor things, but
Yeah.
important
Wow.
enough to be touched upon.
All right. Anybody have any interesting insights into the whole Avatar symbol thing? Because I still can't get over that. That's the biggest head scratch.
That's ridiculous.
It was just a form of lazy copyright kind of thing. Harry Potter did a similar thing recently where they had taken some logos for the Pottermore website to represent the Ivermorny houses, the American
No way.
wizard school, and they had to change it because they got called out and because people recognized the symbols from some other person. It was clear that they had just Googled pictures of
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
magical cat.
I'm
and-
thinking that's what
Well,
the
alright
designers did for the show.
Yeah.
Because if you look up fire elemental symbol,
It's one
the
of the first results.
10th image is
Yeah.
literally it, and
Alright
it's on
then.
the same color and
So
same
it's
fabric
just
looking
the
thing.
designers Googled it and they just ripped off the first thing they saw that worked.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Oh well. Yeah, it's weird. Real quick, I would like to give my thoughts on Hands of Time. I
Do it.
thought that, as far as the rankings are concerned, I think season 2 is all the way at the bottom right now.
Agreed.
Then season 1. Then the first 4 episodes, which I think are season 1. Then this, then Possession, and we're up from there. I pretty much agree with all you guys. I think that for me, retroactively, if they do follow up on all this, then it will be a bit higher. But as it stands right now, I'm a little disappointed. I think that the guy did what he could with what he had, and it's commendable. So good job, David Shane. But I am really looking forward to the original writers taking the helm again.
Yeah, imagine being
I'm
thrown
really in
into a
agreement.
story and they say you have to do something with time travel.
I know, poor
That's
guy.
the worst.
I really
Feel
can't
bad,
blame
man.
him.
I hope he's not getting too much hate.
Yeah, I hope the fandom
mean-
isn't ripping him a new one.
I don't know if he has social media or whatever that people can
from what I
spam
know-
him at, but
There hasn't been too much hate.
good.
Good.
'Cause
I
it's
did
a
not
difficult
want that to
situation.
befall him.
I will, however, say that after giving it some thought earlier, I was very inconclusive. I will actually say I do like this less than Possession. Possession's been universally criticized by us over the years, but Possession's only thing was that the ghosts didn't make any sense. The logistics of the ghosts made no sense, and them being weak to water made even less sense. It was clearly just a plot thing. But it had a lot of really strong elements to counterbalance that. The aforementioned world building that DT said, but also just the general shtick with Moro hunting down all the relics of the first Spinjitzu Master, and then them traveling to all the different locations. Ronin had a really big role,
Yeah.
and it worked well. There were a lot of cool things in that particular season, a lot of really strong aspects that this season just lacked. The whole conflict with the Preeminent, way cooler than anything that was in these final
Oh, yeah.
episodes.
I just
100
think,
times better, more intense, the stakes were higher, and it just felt immensely more satisfying.
I thought what was really cool about Possession is that the artifacts they were collecting weren't the collectible weapons from that line.
Yeah!
That was awesome.
What were the collectible weapons? Just
There
the-
was Sensei's
the-
staff, which they already had. There was the map to
I meant like in the sets.
the map wasn't included anywhere. Well, yeah, it was. In
Yeah.
the City of Sticks said it was.
Okay.
Wow, misinformation.
Oh,
That's it.
classic
Unacceptable.
Just alternative facts.
DT. So there was the map, and then there's the sort of sanctuary,
Yep.
which was a
Alright,
weird concept
so-
on its own.
And only the map and the staff showed up in set form.
The sword did as well.
Mother of Pearl, you were wrong on every single account. Unacceptable.
It
Nice.
appeared in the City of Sticks set, and I'm pretty sure it appeared in the Ronin Rex set.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Amazing TTV audience member Var Stinks in the live studio audience.
As well as 12.
Yeah, the shurikens were, but they weren't searching for the shurikens in the show.
Exactly. I was just wondering, what were the collectibles in the sets if it wasn't the
Oh.
show artifacts, and it was the shurikens. But
Yeah.
you're correct. That was very different, very fresh. This season was quite weird.
Oh, yeah.
I sincerely hope that things go in a good direction going forward. It could retroactively make this better.
Soft reboot.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
This
yeah,
could be
let's
the
let's
season
see
one of
another.
The Office that creates all the rest of the good seasons, or this could just be the season one of a bad storyline that just goes downhill from here.
Wait, you said
it's
the what?
Ninjago
of The
I really
Office?
hope
Snap
that's
it.
not it.
What?
Let's see another
Which season of The
rebooted
Office
because I
did
liked
you say?
rebooted.
I'm saying
Sorry,
season
Emerson.
one because it wasn't
Okay.
as good as the other
Right,
ones.
right. Or like season 3 of Parks and Rec, which I feel the show actually really becomes better in
Yeah.
season
Never
3.
seen it.
Yep.
What?
Okay, well, does anyone have anything else to say?
Please, no.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Yeah,
thanks.
it's cool,
thanks for
dude.
being on.
Dude,
It's
when I
been
got
great.
that, I got a message from Meso in Discord. I just my heart skipped a beat. This is just awesome.
That makes me very happy. I'm glad you were able to come on. You added a lot. You dropped a bunch of bombs on us.
Yeah, a lot of good,
It's feeling
very good
light.
in the fandom that we weren't aware of.
And as you know, as you've seen over the past discussion, the past 10 minutes, I know most things about every Ninjago set.
Well, it's just excellent.
We may have to have you on again if you're willing.
Yeah, I would love to. That
Awesome.
dream come true.
Awesome. All right. Well, we will go ahead and look into that. Thank you all very much for listening. It's been a blast doing this, and thank you once again, DT, for joining us.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
If there's anything that you would like to contribute to the conversation here, feel free to leave all your comments and thoughts in the comments section below, or head on over to TTV message boards at board.ttvchannel.com to join in on the conversation going on over there. We also have Lego Ninjago writer and Bionicle writer and Hero Factory writer. Man, he's written a lot of things. Greg Farshty answering your questions right now. So feel free to head on over there, read all the rules, and ask him as many questions as you can think of. Also, feel free, if you feel so inclined, to head on over and check out the bouquet of support. Obviously, the comments, the questions, sharing the videos is greatly appreciated, but we also have a Patreon set up. Yep, nope, I was right that time. Patreon set up, and you can join our live studio audience here on Discord. So head on over there and check it all out, and any support is greatly appreciated. So thank you all very much. I'm Eljay.
I'm R.
I am Meso.
I'm Jonathan.
And I'm DT.
And we will see you all next week. Farewell.
Have a great
Bye-bye.